Makana.
Aloha kako. I'm going to do two songs. The first song is going to tell you the accurate, real story of why we are fighting against GMOs in song form. I just wrote it, so I might have to stop and change the page. Machine gun shots go off in the biotech lab of Dr. Pustai at the Rowan Institute. He sees the test rats getting sicker by the day, tries to go public but gets threatened with a suit. Here comes the story of the GMO. It's on your plate and you probably don't know. And no real tests were ever done. Just a big PR push and one company controls the food of all the world. Meanwhile, far away in the land of the free, Mr. Taylor carefully crafts new laws, newly appointed to the FDA, secretly working for Monsanto's cause. When a scientist would raise a safety question, he would just ignore it at his own discretion. Maybe he knows what they don't know, like how each garden will grow and only the seed of Monsanto is sown. Scientific proof is a costly task. He thought it unnecessary to ask that the biotech firms self-regulate. I'm sure they'll keep all their studies straight. And all the politicians nodded their heads. They were already in Big Agra's bed. This GMOs had no rules to follow. And though the so-called science was quite hollow, the traffic light was green for the great Big Ag machine. The story I'm telling you is the story of how the abundance of the earth was patented so that you have to pay for something that is free, so that a few people can control everything. Soon after came the GM bovine drugs. Objections from researchers were squashed by thugs. 10,000 cows got infected teats. They approved it anyway, and now it's in your milk and meat. The regulators ain't working for you. They sold you out and you ain't got a clue. It must be safe, I heard them say. I don't believe they'd ever play with the health of our children, now would they? Now Monsanto and the others, they all make great claims of feeding the world, and pests they overcame. But yields are shrinking and the pests are getting bigger, and no one knows what's coming cause they pulled an early trigger. Remember the butterflies and bees that all died, and the 250,000 farmers' suicides. You think you might start asking why so many living things would die from a thing that's meant to feed the world. Now the makers of Agent Orange and Roundup 2 were all excited over a new breakthrough. Just before their patent on herbicide was up, they found a way to keep you farmers drinking from their cup. They built their product right into the crop, turned Mother Nature right into the shop. Now they can patent all the food family farmers are sued for the crime of saving their seed. And all the cheerleaders talk in the building of ending world starvation. But it ain't from lack of food, it's from economic segregation. They say genetic engineering is old as growing food. But we know it ain't the same, in fact it's way more crude. It ain't science when you're aiming a gun and praying the DNA don't come undone. They're playing cowboy with the genes, ignoring all the unforeseen risks. They made a laboratory of the world. And Hawaii is the #1 genetically engineered seed exporter on the planet. Are you proud of that? See, if you go on the Hawaii Agricultural State website and you can look at the history of agriculture in Hawaii, and you see that in the 1960s, as Uncle Walter said, these corporations from other places started coming up and quietly buying up all the seed companies on Molokai. But they didn't change the signs, they didn't change the names, they didn't tell anyone. And they started quietly having meetings with the DLNR, and they started quietly gaining priority access to the water that belongs to all of us. And they started turning the soil way more and pumping more and more chemicals and turning the islands into deserts, because that's what these firms do. All they do is find markets for their poison. I know, because I grow my own food and I don't use poison. Isn't that amazing? You don't need to use poison to grow food. Now 50 nations label transgenic food. But out here in the US, the consumer's getting screwed. Didn't change the price of food or label it elsewhere. And now they're spending millions just to keep us unaware. This is the story of the GMO. It's on your plate and you probably don't know. There never was a dry run. Put on a grocery shelf, not one test to prove the safety of the food. And that's the real story of GMOs.